how did this project create new ways to look at Mount St. Helens? So for my team and I, it reminded us that in many ways, Mount St. Helens is a human-centered story. We're all connected, and it can be rooted in deep emotion. So you're going to hear me say that a lot in the next 3 minutes or so. Emotion. Everyone has a different experience or a memory or a takeaway from the mountain, and we need to be mindful of that as uniformed interpreters at a visitor center. We're asking ourselves, if it's a visitor coming for the first time, what might they feel? If it's someone who lived through the eruption, what might they feel? If it's someone who heard stories from their parents or their grandparents, how might they feel? Locals who know the story versus a distant visitor who might not know. There's a lot to take in, and it's kind of a big responsibility being at such a historic site with so much emotion tied to it. So it was another reminder for my team and I to be really cognizant and aware of that. Hearing these voices and perspectives gave us a powerful tool and opportunity to be open minded and understand that we're all human and that we're all in this together. The second question she asked was, what are some guiding prompts or frames you provide to new interpreters at your site, and how have these been influenced by your oral history collection and work? Um, so I would add to that, we're always encouraging our interpretive staff to be mindful of the sensitivities of this area. Loss is a real and common emotion experienced here. Loss of land, loss of place and belonging, loss of family, loss of livelihood. And then on top of the sense of loss, some people experience anger. Some folks feel anger over what happened. They're mad at the volcano. They're angry at the government for how things were handled. They're angry at the repercussions, the restrictions they now face. So the sense of loss and anger, we don't personalize it. We provide a safe place for people to share. And I always let my visitors, pardon me, let my staff know ahead of time, warning, you're in a really emotional space. um, when I was younger and I started working at Dry Falls or Sun Lakes Dry Falls State Park, where David McWalter is from, I didn't get that warning of hey, there's emotion tied to the age of the site. So I always provide warnings to my staff. We're honoring and making space for other emotions too, like awe and excitement and amazement. We don't put folks down for feeling those either. So I've seen interactions with new staff and visitors where there's almost this aggressiveness of you don't know what happened here. You don't know that people died. How could you be so insensitive? And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can feel a sense of loss and anger, but let's also acknowledge that an eruption is amazing. It's crazy to consider and think about. And there's a sense of awe tied to it. So we need to honor all those emotions tied into this. As a result of those conversations, we accept folks as they come. It's common practice to not ask people, where were you May 18th of 1980? It's not an appropriate question to ask a stranger, not being conscientious or kind or fair. It could be a loaded question. That might be a painful memory that we've just asked them to share with me, a stranger. So I'm always reminding our staff that we don't really do that. We make space for feelings. It's a part of being human and experiencing Mount St. Helens. Instead of discomfort, we embrace it and use it to our advantage. It's a powerful tool to make an even stronger connection with our visitors. And finally, I will end it right here. How has the Oral History Project changed how you understand the story of your site? It makes me feel closer and more connected than I have ever felt before. I did not live through the eruption I talk about every single day. I cracked the joke that I was -10 when it happened. But this project provided me with experiences I would not have otherwise. I don't know about the rest of you, but I have not successfully created a time machine, so I couldn't go back and live through this eruption. This project allowed me to. It made me a better interpreter at the site I work at. I can form deeper connections with my visitors now. I'm coming from a place of understanding based on real experiences. This project made it more human. It made it feel real. It brought it to life. It's not just a story I'm reading or a documentary I'm watching. I am talking to people who were actually there before and during this eruption. And then to throw it out there, because our interpretive manager is on the call, Interpretation 101, linking the tangible to the intangible. The tangible being our volcano, the rocks, the lake, the emblems worn at the summer camps back in the good old days. That's beautiful. That's great. Memorabilia is fabulous. But I now have intangibles I did not have before. I couldn't have had them without this project. I now have a glimpse into people's experiences and what they felt, what that was like to their community. it provided me insights I don't know how I would have gained otherwise. So forming an emotional connection is the outcome of this project in the very end. So thank you so much.